Tremaine, man, you had the $34,000 month this February, this month. The month's not even over yet. Why don't you just tell people, just give us a little history, like about your background, where you're from, what you're doing before wholesaling, and just let us get to know you a little bit.
I was in the car business for a long time, about 11 years. So I sold cars. Actually, before that, I've been in sales for a while. So like, I saw your video like a couple of weeks ago about like your door to door. Like I used to live in Phoenix,
Oh,
and
no way.
yeah, I lived in Phoenix, and I did door to door sales there in Phoenix. Hot ass heat. 118 degrees. The soles of your shoes will melt to the concrete. You know what I mean? I did all that, bro. And then I
Wow.
found the car business about, like I said, 11 years ago. Got into that. I did real well. I made some good money. Got promoted eventually. Sales manager, general sales manager. So, but I was working all the time. You know what I mean? It got to be a lot. And I got small kids, wife, family. I was just never home. You know what I mean? I had a lot of responsibility. Tried to quit a couple of times and I couldn't. So I just like kind of went off the deep end. I was just like drinking my sorrows away, drinking every night, every day. Like I was just like trying to numb the pain. Because I just wanted to be free. The money was good, but like I just wasn't free.
Yeah.
And it actually kind of I tried to quit a couple of times, but the last time it kind of took it away from me. I actually got in a car accident in a company car and got a DUI. I went to jail, the whole nine. So like at that point, it was like they had to kind of let me go.
Mm.
But so I was like, it was actually freeing for me at that point in time. So I was like, okay, I'm happy it happened now. Now what do I do? Right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
now what do I do? I got to figure it out. So, but this guy I went to church with, his story was kind of similar to mine. He was in the car business for a long time, and he was wholesaling for like he's been at this point like 15 years.
Wow.
So, and he's a boss, bro. Like he making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he worked from home every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
everything's virtual, and he's making big time money. So that kind of got me looking into it. But I still never really like dove into it. You know what I mean? He wanted me to work for him, and I was just like, bro, I feel you. I appreciate the offer, but at this point in time, like my mind just wasn't into working for people because like, even though I was happy, um, like I left the car business, but like when you put so much effort into something, like I gave that business my all. You know what I mean? I gave
Right.
my all every day. I sacrificed my family, my marriage, all that. And then the one time I needed them to look out for me, you know what I mean? They kind of let me go. So I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna put my all into something, it's gonna be for me. But that's how I found wholesaling, and that was just the start of it. Then the real fun happened, trying to go through deals and figuring it out, and yeah. So
So do you think if you hadn't known someone personally that was doing it, let's say you just came across a YouTube video or Instagram, do you think you were the type that would have been skeptical or thought it was BS? Like, was that helpful that you actually knew this dude, knew he was doing well, and knew he was wholesaling? Because it's kind of similar. That's how it was for me. Is I knew
yeah,
someone that was doing it because I would have just seen like an ad or a video.
yeah,
I would have thought it was all just BS. Do you think that played into it in your belief that it was actually a real thing?
yeah, and especially because I mean, yeah, it did. It helped out a lot. Actually, I mean, I heard of it. I actually heard of it years before, but I was still working at the time, and I was just like real estate investing. I was buying and flipping houses, and my
Mm.
my friend, she was a real estate agent, and we was looking at a house. And I remember I went to a house to look at, and there was a bunch of people there. I mean, a bunch of investors, and I was like, okay, what's going on? I mean, this house is pretty popular, and then these guys kept going back and forth talking to me about the price. And I was like, who the hell are these people? She was like, they're wholesalers. I was like, wholesalers? I was like, well, where the hell did they get the house from? she didn't really understand it. She was like MLS or something. I was like, what? I need to figure out how they got the house. You know what I mean? Because it's cutting into my profit with me trying to flip this business. So that's when I first heard about it. But then
Okay.
I heard about this. Yeah. But then I saw this guy. He was a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like, man, he didn't carry himself that way, but he had millions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and he was willing to help. I was like, yeah, that really helped me out, knowing that hey, look, it is possible. He kind of explained to me exactly what it was and what we did. You know, I like that you didn't have to really spend no money to get into it. You know, it just took a lot of effort. And yeah, I was like, okay, so let me try this out and see how it works.
So how did you start out? Were you cold calling? How were you looking for opportunities?
So this is how he did it. So he started a while back, but he told me, say, bro, get everything. I do everything from Facebook. He was like, join all these Facebook groups, start making posts, you know, hey, look, I'm looking to buy a house that needs some work that's not on the market, get leads that way. So I did that. I started making calls. Um, and you know, he has like a little program too. Like yours, it's not as extensive, right? So I kind of followed that, kind of try to follow his script. He really gave me a script, um, but it just wasn't working out. Like I wasn't making no leeway. You know, it was just like me trying to figure it out still.
Mm.
So, and I kept coming across the Rainmaker. I kept coming across ritual videos on Instagram, and I was like, okay, this dude, you know, he sounds smooth. Like what I liked about it was just transparent. You know, before it was like, hey, look, you know, I'll buy your house for cash, you know, but you're not really buying the house. So that was a
Right.
little for me. And that's how I sold cars. I was just transparent with everything, you know, and people like that about me. So I was like, man, let me try this out. Let me see what Rich is about. And yeah, it really changed my perspective. That's when I really started going after it.
That's awesome, bro. And so remind me, when did you get into the program? Was it over the summertime? I was looking past in our
What is this? Were we
DMs.
in February? So no, it wasn't the summertime. It was like maybe fall. It was probably like 4 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how were you, so were you still doing Facebook for your leads, or did you change your strategy up, or how were
Yes,
you generating leads?
I changed my strategy up. I tried a couple different things, but I ultimately I got a company to cold call for me, and it
Nice.
sent leads. So that's how I was getting my leads.
Okay, cool.
But, mhm.
And why don't you tell me about your first deal? Kind of give us lay it out for us on how it went down.
Okay, so my first deal, right? Um, well, I have to tell you, I got I prior to this, I had a bunch of deals under contract. I can get deals under contract, but you know, I would mess up the numbers or something would happen in the deal, and you know, I wouldn't close it, or I just wave my hands and just start on another deal, you know.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah, that's heartbreaking, dude. You get the
yeah,
deal and you're like, finally, da-da-da-da, but you
yeah.
realize it's like, man, until that wire hits, it's not a
Yeah,
deal
bro, that's
yet.
just the beginning, man. It's easy to get a deal on a contract. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
tell them whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, I started looking at the car. I really started like diving in the course. And you do those like car reviews and those you know, pitches or whatever, you know,
Yeah, the role play calls and the
role
call
player. Yeah, you
reviews
do
and
all that. I was like, okay. I heard this girl one time, and she was asking questions or whatever. And then like the next one, she was like, we were doing a car review over, and she wasn't great. You know what I mean? You could tell she never did sales before, but the call, she was getting through the call, and like everything, you know, you chime in and out. You're like, hey, look, you know, if I was you, I would say this. And every time, whatever you said to say, she said it on the call. You were like, I can tell you've been like watching the videos and really studying. And I don't know, I was so proud of her. I was like, damn, bro, she not in sales. No, she getting through it. They don't know she fucking up really, but she sound good. And I was like, and I've been in sales my whole fucking life. What's my problem, bro? Like, It's just that she's showing fucking effort, and I really wasn't at the time. I was like, you know what? I got to figure this out. So my first deal, like, called the guy. It was a, he was a landlord, tire landlord. He had a tenant in there, so I was like, I'm gonna novate this thing, right? Somebody's living in that deal, so it can't be that bad. So I have my numbers right for novation, but when I finally went to go look at the property, it was trash, bro. Like you couldn't sell it. Like because it was a Section 8 house, right?
Mm,
He did disclose it to me, but the reason why he was selling it is because in order for you to have a Section 8 house, it has to be in some type of condition, like
right.
has to be livable, and it wasn't really livable, like. But
Mm.
he was still renting it out, so he was like, "Okay, I can't do Section 8 no more, so I'm gonna sell it." So I offered way too much money. I was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do?" So I kind of sat on it for a little bit. I was like, "You know what? I got to figure this out." So I called him back. I tried to renegotiate the price, and he was like, "No, I got a seller that said it, a buyer that said he would buy it for, 140." I was like, "Shit." But he didn't sound like he was lying to me. So I was like, okay, if somebody's out there that's gonna buy it for 140, I'm gonna try to sell it myself. So I just started posting on Facebook, and then people started coming in. Everything was lower than 140, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
uh, I kept pushing, and I found somebody, after like 2 weeks. So that was the first deal. It wasn't supposed to be a deal, man. Like the real price for a wholesale deal, it was supposed to be like 95, 100,000,
Yeah.
but
So you just
there's a
found a good buyer that was willing to pay more than what the majority of the people were paying, right? They
yeah, I just
saw
found a I
different
found a buyer.
value in it.
They had a different strategy. You know what I mean? They're not it's a true cash buyer. They're not looking for a loan. They're gonna hold it for a little bit and fix it up and hold it. So
Nice. And was that the
so
little one? Because it was what? One you made like what, like four or five
yeah, that was
grand
the
on?
little one. Yeah, that was 5 grand. That took all the work. You know what I mean? I'd have made. I mean, it was. Hey, I could have lost money, but I made 5 grand, so I was happy. It was my first deal. I was ecstatic. You know what I mean? I figured it out.
Yeah.
I made 5 grand out of something that could have been no deal. So I was happy about it.
Yeah. Just the fact that you pulled it off. You're like proof
Yeah,
of concept. And the fact
yeah,
that it was so hard made you appreciate it even more. You know what I mean?
right,
Than just like an
right.
easy 5 grand. It was like, dude, I pulled 5 grand out of thin air on this one. Like,
Yeah,
that's dope.
yeah,
Okay. And
yeah,
then so you had another deal that also closed this month. Let's talk
yeah,
let's talk about that one. That one had a little bit more meat on the bone. It was a little bit more juicier, right?
yeah, yes. But and it was easy.
Isn't that
It's
crazy? The big spread
yes,
ones are easier than the little
dude.
ones. The little ones you got to
And
fight
it was.
for.
It's always been like that. My whole life in sales, bro. Like it's the
Yeah.
ones that pay all the money or you make the most money on are the easy ones. The ones you gotta fight for, you know, you barely make anything, and they think you're making all this money.
Yeah, and they feel ripped off, right? The
Right.
ones you get a full boat on, they're
Yeah.
super happy, and then the ones you barely make anything, they feel ripped off. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like that in Kirby too. It's like that in all sales. That's
Yeah.
funny though.
Yeah.
What
But
was
the
the
second
situation
one,
on that one?
so the second one, you know, call this guy, he lived out of state. Nobody lived in the house. Same thing. I set it up as a novation. Um, they never tell you the truth. So I finally went to go look at the house and it was trash too. It was like halfway done and you couldn't sell it on the market. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to wholesale it. And but he wanted a certain amount. I was like, well, I can't do that. I mean, it's not worth it. So I figured out a situation. We came to an agreement, gave him an novation pitch. Like the novation pitch is gangster, bro, because like if anything happens, they know what's going on. You know what I mean? They know you're not buying it and
Yeah.
you just here to help them out. So they with you with everything. Everything's above board. They on your side. They're trying to help you get it sold. But yeah, so I got that one. We came to an agreement on the price. And months before, I used to run ads on Facebook and YouTube to get deals and stuff like that. And actually, an investor called me and say, "Look, I like that you really pushing it and aggressive with trying to get deals. If you ever need a deal, just call me." So I was like, "Okay." So I got the deal on the contract that night around like 8 o'clock. the next morning, I was at the gym. I get a text from this investor. He said, "You got anything?" I was like, "Actually, yeah, I do." And I sent him the address. He said, "I'm going to look at it right now." He went to look at it. He was like, "Okay, I want it." I was like, "All right." Said, "Send me over the paperwork." Boom. So it was like not even 24 hours. I got a deal, and it was like 30 bands. I was like, "Okay,
Was
yeah,
there a
this,
part of you that was like, wait, this is too easy? Like,
yeah,
what's
it's
what's the
easy."
cash?
Yeah, yeah, it was. I was like, "Shit." When the check came in, and I was like, "All right, I could do this."
Dude. And
Yeah,
how what'd you pull on that one?
that was 29 grand
29,000 and you sold it within 24 hours.
within 24 hours. Wasn't even 24 hours. It was like 8 hours. And I didn't even market the deal. He
Yeah.
called me. So yeah,
After you went through with on the last one, when you had a full price offer, you're like, hey, bird in hand, let's get this
right,
thing
right.
closed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
man.
go.
Isn't that crazy?
So yeah,
So it would have taken 6 of the other deals to say to make the same amount of money. And you worked what 14 days on the other one, and you worked 1 day on this one.
right.
So
Yeah,
it goes to show, right? When you have your numbers right and you negotiate it right, and you did the concierge service pitch where they understood, hey, look, you're not going to be the final buyer, but they're dealing with an expert where you're going to utilize your tools, your resources, your network. He was completely cool with it, and then you set it up from the beginning. And bro, anytime you can sell them off market and make close to the same amount of money as on market, all day, bro. Like I don't have
yeah.
this just love for listing properties on the market. I like quick money, bro.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's dope that you utilize the concierge service pitch for that because we do the same thing. About 2 out of every 10 deals we sell off market. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And we actually even outsource that where we've got a company that we just pay a flat fee to, and they do it all for us. They put it on investor lift and they do all that, and we just
Yeah.
focus on getting more deals. But oh yeah, it's a different game, right? Because there is something, right? When you're telling them that you're the buyer and you're trying to do this dance behind the
Yeah.
scenes,
Yeah.
there's a part of you that's like, man, this is
Yeah. Because if anything goes wrong, I mean, game over. But for the first one, because he knew I wasn't the buyer, he he just had a little more leeway. He's like, okay. I mean,
yeah.
I called him back and forth. He was like, okay, I had a bunch of investors come to the property. I mean, I needed his help because I needed to get access to the house with the tenant. And he was just, okay, yeah, let's figure it out. We got this
That's
time.
killer.
Yeah. So it was a lot of work, but it worked out. Yeah, it worked
So
out for
you
sure.
went from all that time of working, trying to figure it out, right? Not making any money to in 1 month making 34 grand.
Yeah.
What's that done for like your confidence and your proof of concept and your energy level and all that? Did that kind of reinvigorate you and like, man, let's rinse and
Oh yeah.
repeat?
Anytime. I mean, I'm just the type of guy. Whenever I make some money, I just want some more money, and that just motivates me. But it really like over the course of this time and the journey I've been through, it was like, man, it's possible. It says something to where you can start your own thing. I mean, out of thin air, like your own business out of thin air, and actually generate revenue, man. Like, and you did it on your own terms. You know what I mean? Like, you did it on your schedule, your own terms, your hard work, and you keep all the proceeds.
And no one
So
got hurt. No one got
yeah,
lied to. It's a
yeah,
win-win. The seller's happy in the end that you pulled it off. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
right,
So that's killer, bro. And I can totally relate too to what you were saying about like when you were sacrificing the best part of your life at the car dealership, where
yeah,
feeling like after you get off, like you got to kind of numb the pain. You know what I
right,
mean? Where same with me when I was doing Kirby, I'd have to be smoking weed, drinking, or whatever afterwards because I'm like,
right,
dude, I only have a couple hours before I need to go to sleep and be up.
yeah.
I'm like, let me maximize that time and at least feel like I have some sort of control over my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, now do you get to work from home now that you're running your own business and everything?
Man, I work, I mean, from home for wherever. I just need a laptop and some Wi-Fi. Like a lot of times I'm just in the car making call or going back and forth making calls. But yeah, I work from home. Yeah, my schedule is killer, bro. I can't see myself going back to work now.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, bro.
yeah, yeah, it's for the birds. Like I mean, I go back to the dealership to get my car service, and I can't believe I did it for so long. It just
Bro,
feels like a dreary feeling. Like it's not really a happy place. You know, like you just there all day, you wasting your life away, and you're not living. You know, um, and it's they kind of give you this drug, like this paycheck, because you make good money. I mean, you make six figures a year. I mean, I was making 200 grand a year for like shit 10 years. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's the money's not bad, but like you sacrificing your whole life. It's not
Yeah,
worth
it's the golden
it.
handcuffs, bro. That's what they
Yeah,
call it, right? And then
right.
you get a house and then you get a nice car and you get all these
Yeah,
things where if you leave, you got all these payments, you know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like it's hard where you can just lose everything, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because okay, you were making 200,000 a year, but look, if you could rinse and repeat just this month, right? And
yeah.
obviously you're brand new, your income's going to go up. I mean, to do a
Right,
couple deals a month by yourself is it's not hard to be pulling in 50 grand per month pretty
right.
regularly. And as you expand and share the opportunity with other good people like yourself that are looking to learn and maybe they're in a different position where they can come on part-time and then learn skills and become more useful, then you could really scale this thing out 5, 10, 15, 20 deals a month, right? And now
Yeah,
you're the boss up at the top calling the shots and everything, and you're helping your people change their lives. It's adding stability to your business where you can spend even more free time with your family and doing the things you like. So it's so cool because it's something too, like, bro, you have so much knowledge from those 10 years of being in the car business. I'm sure
yeah.
when you got these deals under contract, it probably felt how it felt when you were selling cars, where you
Oh
felt the
yeah,
rhythm,
yeah.
you felt everything coming together, right? And then once you get that dance down, you're like, man, I could do this all day. You know what I mean?
Right,
I just have to find the right prospects with the right opportunity, and I can rinse and repeat it. And you can teach other people how to do that too. So that's really
right.
dope, bro.
I mean, that was the big deal. I mean, that's what kept me going because when I first started this wholesale journey, I know some people in the car business like, man, I want to do this too, man. I'm all in, but they kind of fell off, you know, after some because it's not easy. It's real simple, but it's not easy, right? I was like, I gotta figure this out. I'm not figuring it out for me, I'm figuring it out for everybody else because nobody in the car business loves that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right?
not like they
Yeah.
do it for the money, right?
Right,
It's not that they
exactly.
they just love the job.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I totally get that. And I think honestly the hardest part is figuring it out, because once you
Yes.
know how to do it, yes, you run into all these challenges, right? But the hardest thing is not even knowing what to do and trying different things and having it not work out, because then you have this fear of like, am I ever going to pull this off? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But dude, I'm happy for you, bro. I really appreciate you sharing your story too with everybody, because I know there's other people that are in a similar situation that you were in, right? Or, throughout the journey, maybe they're working at a job they don't really like. Maybe they've been struggling trying to pull this off and bumping their head against the wall. And maybe even they've gotten a deal or two done and now they're struggling, right? But to hear, right, that you just use the concierge service pitch, you plug and played, you ran into challenges, but you didn't give up,
Yeah.
and it paid off, and now you're rinsing and repeating. And now, right, because it was one of those things, you're either going to look like a brilliant genius that pulled it off, or you're going to look like a madman that's been trying to chase this wholesale dream the whole time. And if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gave
Yeah.
up and went back to the car dealership,
Right.
imagine what that would have felt like, right?
Defeated, bro. I couldn't do it. Yeah. It got to the point where I was like, man, I might have to get a job, bro. Like if I don't figure this out soon. So I gave myself a time limit. I was like, look, if I don't get something by the end, I don't have something, nothing going on by the end of like January, I'm gonna have to look for a job, bro. Like it
Yeah.
got, but that just pushed me. I was like, I can't go back to work. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got my family back, but it was just, yeah. I mean, money became a struggle for a little bit, like everybody else.
Yeah.
If you pulling no deals off, you know what I mean? Like that's a big hit to the family. 200 grand a year, and it's down to zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Down to
Savings run out
zero,
fast.
same bills.
Yeah,
And
savings run
everybody's
out fast. So,
accustomed to, living a certain way too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man. Well, dude, props to you, man. Props to you for pulling that off, bro. And definitely anything you need, holler at me. I got you.
Yeah,
And so if people want to get in touch with you, right? Maybe they want to do some deals. What market are you in, first off?
I'm in Dallas market.
Oh, okay.
Dallas, yeah, DFW market, man. Yeah.
Huge
So
mark. Okay, cool. And are you, if someone has like a deal, maybe they don't know how to do novations yet, or maybe they need
mhm.
help with something. Is there a good way for them to reach out to you? Like maybe Instagram or
Yeah, just hit me up on Instagram, at Tremaine the dealer on Instagram. Yeah.
sweet, man.
Hit me up, man. I'm here all day.
Man.
All day,
Well,
all day.
man, God bless you, man. And cheers to your success. This is just your first chapter in your wholesale journey. And
Yeah.
that first deal, man, I think that was really the tipping point. And I'm
Mhm.
glad it was the 5 grand one first and not the
Right.
29 grand.
Yeah.
Because you appreciated that 5 grand so much. And then
Yeah.
the 29 grand was just the proof of concept. I think that was God rewarding you for
Yeah.
seeing through that 5 grand one. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. And thanks to you, man, for everything. I'm truly, man, you really inspired me. And I mean, you don't have to like really share. Like I know, you got your course, but you really don't have to share your journey and all everything you learn. But you really like just you're shortening the time for people to figure it out. I'm pretty sure you bumped your head along the way, but the way you got the course laid out tells you exactly what to do. You know, just follow it and you're gonna be successful. And that's what I did. I got to the point I was just taking notes, writing stuff down, writing down responses, and I was just literally reading off everything you said, and it just popped out. You know what I mean? Like, and after you
yeah.
do it so many times, you know what to say. You don't have to read it off anymore. You know what I mean? You get into your own rhythm. It's just repetition, bro. And yeah, so props to you, bro. You really changed, my life and my family's life, bro. So
Oh,
yeah,
man. I
yeah,
appreciate that, man. I
yeah,
appreciate that. That's always been my hope, man, that I can help people in some way or another. So, man, and you put in the work though. You know what I mean? A lot of people watch the course, watch the videos, see me on Instagram, and they're spectators, man. You went
right.
and bumped your head and got beat up and then eventually pulled it off, man. So,
Yeah,
props to you, bro. You deserve everything. I'm glad I could play a small role in that. So, awesome, dude.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Well, cheers, man. So yeah, guys, definitely check out Tremaine on Instagram. If you have any deals that you want to squat up with him, definitely do that. You can always check out the Rainmaker course at novationking.com. I'm going to put up a special discount code too. If you stay to the end of this video and you saw Tremaine's story and you were inspired by it, I'm going to do a discount code with his name on here too, and that's going to give you a nice discount on the course. So definitely check that out. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.